Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Mancuso, and I am going to go through the June 2018 exam with you. So if you don't already have this exam printed out, pause the video, go print it out, because you definitely want to be going along problem by problem in the test, and I will show you how to solve each one. All right, first one, which statement describes the charge and location of an electron in an atom? So here's the nucleus. The electrons are out here in orbitals. So, and they definitely have a negative charge. So not positive, not positive. Electron is a negative charge located outside the nucleus. There we go. Which statement explains why a xenon atom is electrically neutral? So something is neutral because the number of protons, which are positive, is the same as the number of electrons, and those are negative. So it's because it has the same number of, not neutrons, protons and electrons. If two atoms are isotopes of the same element, they must have. So isotopes are like carbon 12 and carbon 14. They both have 6 protons, but this one would have 6 neutrons and this one would have 8 neutrons. So they have the same number of protons, not the same, and same number of protons, different number of neutrons. There it is. Which electrons in a calcium atom in the ground state have the greatest effect on the chemical properties? So the ones that have the greatest effect on properties are the outermost ones, because if you think about it, the thing on the very outside is what's going to come in contact with another atom. So it's not going to be the first. And so if you look up calcium on your reference table, oh, sorry, I should be pulling it up on here. All right, so there's calcium and it's 2882. So the fourth shell has the valence, and those are the important ones. So the 2 electrons in the fourth shell, 2882, those are the valence. All right. The weighted average of atomic masses of a naturally occurring isotope of any element, that's called the average atomic mass of the element. So it's the atomic mass. It is not the atomic number. The mass number is the protons plus the neutrons. It's not the weighted average. And the formula mass is like gram formula mass if you add it up for a compound. Which element is classified as a metalloid? So we have to go back to the periodic table. Let me just see what my choices are. Cr, Cs, Sc, Si. All right, so we go back here to the periodic table. The metalloids are going to be over here. Oops, sorry, I'm writing across my thing. How do I get over there? I may have to go all the way down. All right, I want the ones that are touching the staircase. So there's silicon. It has 2 sides touching the staircase. That's what I want for a metalloid. Which statement describes a chemical property of iron? So a chemical property shows how it reacts. So oxidizes, there we go, that's a reaction. A solid, melting, or attraction to a magnet, those are all physical properties. Graphite and diamond are 2 forms of the same element in the solid phase that differ in there. So they're both carbon, and so graphite and diamond have the same atomic number, but they definitely have a different structure. So they have different properties based on their different structure. If they're the same element, they would have the same electronegativity and the same formula. All right, which one has the largest radius? So each of these are ions, and each of them are actually in the same group on the periodic table. So I'm going to go back here to my periodic table. I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to see if I can move it over. All right, here we go. F is in period 2, so it has 2 rings. This one, 1, 2, 3 rings. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the one that has the most rings is going to have the largest radius, so that's iodine. carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide have? All right, carbon monoxide is CO and carbon dioxide is CO2. So they definitely have different everything, different properties. So I don't want same. Different properties, nope. Different chemical, different physical. They are two different compounds, so they are going to be different. All right. Based on table S, which group on the periodic table has the element with the highest electronegativity? So if you go over here to table S after the periodic table, you will notice that the highest electronegativity is F, fluorine. And then if you go back to the periodic table, you will see that it is in group 17. So the groups are my columns. What is represented by the chemical formula PbCl2? So PbCl2 is definitely a compound, and a compound is not a solution or a mixture, it's a pure substance. Elements and compounds are both pure substances. What is the vapor pressure of propanone at 50 degrees? All right, I got to go to table H. So that's going to be page 4 up here. All right. Here's 50 degrees, and now I find propanone. All right. So it's about right there. So then I go across. So if this is 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So it's like 85. 83. There we go. Which statement describes the charge distribution and polarity of CH4? All right, here's CH4. It's very symmetrical, which means it has an even distribution of charge, and it is symmetrical. So symmetrical and nonpolar. Yep. In a laboratory investigation, a student separates colored compounds obtained from a mixture of crushed spinach leaves and water by using paper chromatography. The colored compounds separate because of differences in their polarity. The fact that they like dissolves like, so they dissolve in water because they're polar, and then they move up the paper based on that attraction. Which phase describes the motion and attractive forces of ideal gas? So ideal gases move in constant straight line motion. So I want to get rid of this curved line. And if they're an ideal gas, they have no attractive forces. They have the weakest intermolecular forces of all. At which temperature will H2 liquid and H2 solid reach equilibrium in a closed system? So if I'm reaching equilibrium between a liquid and a solid, I just want to find out what the melting point is. So I got to look up HG's melting point. So I go here to table S and find Hg. There it is. And the melting point is 234. And it's already in K for me. A molecule of any organic compound has at least one. All right, it's got to have carbon. That was an easy one. Organic means carbon. A chemical reaction occurs when reactant particles. All right, so they need to collide. Ooh, there it is. They have to have the proper energy, proper orientation. I always say, think of a high five. They have to hit just right. Can't be wimpy, can't be sideways. It's got to be just right. Systems in nature tend to undergo changes towards. All right, think of even yourself by the end of the day. You definitely have lower energy and you have higher entropy, because entropy means the amount of disorder in a system. All right, which ones can represent an alkyne? All right, so an alkyne, we're going to go up here. All right, here's our alkynes. I want this formula, CnH2n minus 2. All right, that's just double it. This 2 and 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6, so that's double it plus 2. A 3 and a 4. All right, so 3 double it would be 6 minus 2 is 4. There we go. Given the formula representing a compound, which formula represents an isomer of this compound? So an isomer means I need to have the same molecular formula, but a different shape. All right, so this one has a triple bond and this one has a double bond. So there's no way they can be isomers. They will not have the same formula. 1, 2, 3, C4, and then they're all single bonds, so I know it's double it plus 2, so that's going to be 10. So there it is. This one is exactly the same. You can't pick the exact same one. You have to have something different. Which energy conversion occurs in a voltaic cell? So a voltaic cell converts chemical energy to electrical energy. It produces power. It allows spontaneous reactions to do their chemical reaction and then make electricity. Which process requires energy to decompose a substance? So if you require energy and you're breaking something apart, that's called electrolysis. So it's not a voltaic cell, it's an electrolytic cell. The concentration of which ion is increased when LiOH is dissolved in water? So LiOH is a base, and it's going to donate the OH minus. And if you forget that OH minus is hydroxide, you could look it up on table E. So table E, here it is, OH minus hydroxide. It's a base, a metal and an OH. Which equation represents neutralization? So I want to add an acid plus a base, and I want to make water and a salt. So Li and N, that's not an acid and a base, that's not an acid. Ooh, KOH, that's a base. H2SO4, that's an acid. There we go. Not an acid and a base. 27. The stability of an isotope is related to the ratio of neutrons to protons. The molecules in the nucleus. Which particle has the least mass? All right. We can go over here to table O. The mass is the top number. So an alpha has a mass of 4, so that's high. A beta or an electron has a mass of 0. A neutron has a mass of 1, and a proton has a mass of 1. So the one with the least is a beta or an electron. The energy released during a nuclear reaction is a result of. So I definitely want to make energy. So I always look for these converted to energy, and it does lose a tiny amount of mass, so mass converted to energy. 30, the use of uranium-238 to determine the age of a geological formation is a beneficial use of. So uranium-238 is a radioactive isotope, and so you are able to use that isotope to date something. All right, thanks for joining me. This was video 1 of 4, so just join on to find the next one.